Reading has been so important to our journey to debt freedom and just overall enhancing our lives. There's so many benefits to reading. Reading reduces stress. It improves your concentration and your memory. It helps you to expand your vocabulary and it enhances your knowledge. Reading also increases your imagination and your creativity. So today I want to give you 3 books that have changed my life. Stay tuned. Get a jump on your fresh start. Time to get your money right. What's up, everybody? This is Samuel with Fresh Start, where we help you get your money right. Listen, if you aren't reading, you're missing out. The average millionaire reads at least one nonfiction book a month. So I started back in 2010 reading at least one nonfiction book a month. If you want to be something, you got to practice the best habits. So with that, the first book that I want to discuss today that has helped change my life is Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This book was a game changer for me. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People taught me to be proactive. Successful people don't just wait for things to happen. They're proactive and they go after and they pursue and they take action steps towards their dreams. So many times people want things to happen in their lives, but they don't make the necessary steps or make any moves whatsoever to make progress towards that goal. Another thing that 7 Habits taught me is to begin with an end in mind. Before you set a goal, you want to have an end in mind. If you want to lose weight, don't just say, I want to lose weight. Say, hey, I want to lose 30 pounds. Make it a concrete goal and begin with an end in mind so you know when you accomplish the goal. If you don't have an end, you don't know when you're finished. Another valuable lesson that the book taught me is to create win-win situations. This can work when you're talking about business relationships, when you're talking about business dealings, in marriage, in any capacity where there's a relationship involved. Think to create win-win situations. We live in a society where everybody wants to win. They want to be on top. But what about if you create a situation where both parties won? It helped me to get out of this mindset that in order for me to win, the other person had to lose. Incredible book. I highly recommend it. The next book that I want to talk about is The One Thing, written by Gary Keller. The premise of this book is all about doing the things that matter most. One of the quotes in the book is, if there was one thing that you had to do this week that would make everything else easier or unnecessary, what would it be? The idea behind that statement is learning the difference between a to-do list and a success list. So many times we use the phrase, I have a to-do list for today. I have a to-do list for this week, where we just list a bunch of activities that need to get done. But are those the most important things? For example, if you desire to be an author, the number one thing that you should be doing is writing. So it's so important to understand, instead of making a to-do list, make a success list. And that book will help you to determine the difference between the two so that you make further progression in your goals. My basketball coach used to say to me, don't mistake activity for accomplishment. What that means is, if I were to say to you, I'm working out and I spent 2 hours in a weight room, if you were to hear me say that, you might say, wow, that's incredible. You really worked hard. But what if I was in a weight room simply talking to people, wasting time, sitting on the bench, scrolling through social media, not actually lifting weights? That's mistaking activity, going to the weight room, for accomplishment. I didn't accomplish anything. I wasted time. Gary Keller's book, The One Thing, really helped me with self-management. A lot of times we use the phrase time management, but you really can't manage time. You can only manage yourself within time. It's not that we have too little time to do the things that we feel we need to do. It's that we try to cram too many things in the time that we have. So check out The One Thing by Gary Keller. Learn to be productive and manage yourself accordingly. The next book that changed my life is Dr. Emerson Eggerichs' Love and Respect. This year, my wife and I will be married for 8 years, and I read that book early in our marriage, and it's been so beneficial because I work on everything else. I had to realize just because I got the girl doesn't mean the work stops. So many times we get married and feel like we got the prize. All right, now we go on cruise control. If you go on a cruise control, your marriage won't work. That's why the divorce statistics are so high in this country, because so many times people get married and they go through this whole phase of being in love, but they stop working and stop pursuing each other in love. Love and respect taught me the difference between how men and women relate. I learned that men, we want to be respected. We would rather hear, I respect you, than I love you. And women want to feel loved. Generally speaking, Dr. Emerson Eggerichs really dives into the difference between how men and women relate, the difference between women wanting to feel loved, men want to be respected, and he explains how a lot of different arguments and disagreements happen in marriage, and he uses this phrase, the crazy cycle. When men don't feel respected, we act out. When women don't feel loved, they act out. Incredible book that will help you relate to your spouse in a greater capacity. I highly recommend it. So those are 3 books that have helped change my life. There are so many more that I'll share in future videos, but I wanted to give you 3. If you're looking for a book to read, go ahead and pick up one of those. It's well worth the read. See you next time.